Good afternoon. I'm here with Sergeant Tim McGrath, and I'm going to find out more about his job as a state trooper. So first of all, what's the difference between a police officer and a state trooper?
Uh, Jurisdiction is the difference. A local police officer has jurisdiction, which means they have authority to arrest and cite people and stop people for violations within a city. That's what a state police officer does. A county sheriff's deputy, they have jurisdiction countywide, so they can go anywhere in the county and make arrests and make traffic stops. Whereas a state trooper, we can go anywhere within the state and do that type of thing, make arrests, make traffic stops. However, with the Wisconsin State Patrol, we're primarily assigned to patrol the highways, so you'll generally see us on Highway 41, I-43, and Highway 10 in this area. And so we look for traffic violations. If somebody's carrying something illegal, we can make arrests. And then we also will help county and city law enforcement agencies out whenever they ask for assistance. So that's kind of the difference. We're mainly on the highways.
What made you want to become a state trooper?
Well, I like the idea of spending some of my professional time outside. I couldn't envision myself being in an office full-time or being inside a building. I really like the idea of being out, moving around. I get to drive and see different people, see different things. No 2 days are ever alike in my job. I may think a day is going to go like this, but then an incident happens and it turns out completely different. That's what I like about it.
How many years have you been doing it?
In July, I will have 20 years on as a state trooper.
Where do you usually work?
I'm assigned to the northeast region of the state of Wisconsin, which on the south goes from Fond du Lac and Sheboygan up to the Michigan state line. So I can, I go anywhere, within that area, depending on what's going on. But specifically, I supervise troopers that work in the Winnebago County area, which is the Oshkosh area. So the majority of my time is spent in Oshkosh.
Do you enjoy your work?
I do. I do. No 2 days are ever alike. I like, sometimes there's some excitement. It's not like a TV show where there's exciting things happening all the time, but occasionally exciting things happen, get your adrenaline flowing. So I really like that aspect. Like I mentioned earlier, no 2 days are ever alike. And so, yeah, I really do like it.
Is there anything that you don't like about it?
Probably the varying hours that I am required to work. As a police officer or a state trooper, you have to work some nights, some weekends, some holidays. And when I was younger, first on the job, that didn't bother me. In fact, I enjoyed working nights because a lot of things were happening, a lot of action happened at night. But as I've gotten older, I'm now busier with the family. I like working on the nights and weekends and holidays a lot less. So that's probably the main thing that I don't like. Although it's not. If you plan and coordinate around having to work at those times, it's manageable. And so don't hate it. But if you ask me what the least favorite thing is, it would be that.
So what are the things that you've learned from being a state trooper?
I've learned a lot. A lot of different skills are necessary to be a state trooper, but I would say the number one thing that I've had to focus on and improve and learn is my people skills, my communication skills. As a state trooper, I deal with people from throughout the world that may be traveling in Wisconsin, people that don't speak this language as a primary language or maybe don't speak this language at all. So you have to learn to deal with those people. Some people are not very happy to see a state trooper because we may have bad news. We may have found them making some sort of a violation and they're going to be given a citation or arresting them. And so they're not happy with us. They might be, mad. Other times we are helpful, pulling up behind somebody who's stranded out in the middle of the highway with no cell phone and no help, helping them change their tire. They're extremely grateful that we're there. So communicating and dealing with people, different kinds of people in different kinds of situations is something that I've had to learn and improve upon. And I think the biggest skill that I've had to work on throughout my career.
So what would you say is one of your wildest stories?
Um, a couple years ago, our current governor, Governor Walker, instituted some change that dealt with public employees such as teachers, police officers. He instituted some changes that dealt with their employment, and a lot of people were very unhappy about that. So a lot of crazy people went to the Capitol in Madison, and they protested, and they were singing songs, and there was actually people that camped out in the Capitol, the state Capitol, for weeks on end without showering, and it was just a very crazy scene. They were constantly shouting and singing, beating drums, and the state patrol got called down there to manage that building and manage those people. It came to the point that they were being so unlawful that we had to physically carry people out of the building. They would not leave. So I was involved in some, and then when the legislature tried to convene business, do the things that they had to do, enact laws, they would position themselves in front of, they'd lay in front of doors so that people couldn't enter. So I was part of a team that actually had to physically remove people that were trying to prevent Capitol business from happening. So it was a very crazy scene, and wild and crazy, and yeah, I'll never forget a lot of that part of it. And everybody smelled bad because they hadn't showered for weeks.
Have you ever had to pull someone over that you knew, like, personally?
Not really. I've pulled over maybe a wife of somebody that I knew. So luckily I haven't. I hope I never have to. That would be pretty awkward.
What's like one of the biggest tickets you've given?
Well, when you say ticket, that to me means like a traffic law violation. And a lot of times truck laws are kind of complicated, but trucks, they can't be heavy. Their equipment has to be in proper working order. If it's not, the tickets are very, very big, in excess of thousands of dollars. So when you ask me about the biggest ticket, I've probably written a ticket for thousands of dollars to a trucking company. But I've also been, as far as like arresting people, I've been involved in homicide investigations, trying to locate a murder suspect. I was integral in an investigation. So yeah, I helped. It wasn't all me, but I've helped put people in prison for the rest of their lives in some instances.
What's one of your most dangerous situations you've been in?
I don't. It may sound kind of unique to say this, but I don't really consider my job to be dangerous. We're very well trained we do constant training in physical defense and firearms training. So honestly, I don't feel like I'm in danger very often, but I've been in some high-stress situations where people ran from the police and we had to chase them. So I've been in a few of those.
What is one of the coolest things that's happened on the job?
I've done a lot of what I would describe as cool things, but I would say the coolest is working with this United States Secret Service, who has the task of protecting presidents. Occasionally, the President of the United States will come to Appleton, Oshkosh, or Green Bay, and the Secret Service will ask for assistance from the State Patrol. So we will be actively involved in like their motorcade, where the motorcade is the president's limousine and all of his entourage. It'll be like a 14 vehicle motorcade, and we'll be involved in that. And I've led that, and I've had the opportunity to meet the last two presidents in person, shake their hand, have a picture taken with them. Same thing with the last two vice presidents. I've gotten an opportunity to meet them and shake their hand. And so that's definitely a very cool aspect of my job. I always love it when the president comes to the area. We get to work with the Secret Service.
Sounds very interesting. That's all I have, so thanks for being here.
You're welcome.